This is not a normal Christmas morning. Don't pay attention to the decorations on the tree or the presents all over the floor. Instead, look at the woman's face. She isn't smiling at all. Now look closer at her shirt. It says, "Find Jessyca." This is Monica Lukasavage and her 13-year-old daughter, Jessyca, has been missing for over 3 months. September 15, 1995. Jessyca's dad picks her up for a scheduled weekend visit, but 2 days later she disappears. Her family gets a letter from her saying she ran away and she's in a safe place, but her mom knows right away that something is very wrong. "I know how my child speaks, I know how my child writes." It was her writing, but it sounded like it was dictated to her. Monica's ex-husband tells her Jessyca was supposed to be going on a trip that weekend with a teacher's aide to meet with a publisher about her writing. There's no sign of him or Jessyca, but her family won't give up their desperate search across the country that will last for over 100 days. It was horrifying to know that she could be anywhere. We found a bunch of receipts. He had a knife, rope, things that could be used to restrain somebody. The worst nightmare you'd ever want to imagine. I don't care if it's 10 years, I would still be looking for her. I will not let any negative thoughts come in at all. She will be back home. It's 1995, 13-year-old Jessyca lives with her family in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Her parents are divorced and she spends most of her time with her mom. Especially while dealing with her parents' divorce, Jessyca finds comfort in expressing her feelings through art and writing. She even joins a writing club led by a teacher's aide at school. September 15, 1995, Jessyca goes to her dad's house for a scheduled weekend visit, but 2 days later, Jessyca's mom gets a call from her ex-husband. He says, Jessyca's missing and he thinks she ran away. Her mom knows immediately that something isn't right and she demands answers. He goes, "I think Jessyca might have ran away from home." I knew that was nonsense and I said, "Who is she with?" He didn't want to say right at first and I yelled at him, "Who is she with?" He said, "Stephen Oliver." 1991, 4 years earlier, new neighbors moved in next door to Jessyca, a man named Stephen Oliver and his son, Ryan. Ryan and Jessyca played together and Ryan's dad got a job at the elementary school as a teacher's aide. He quickly recognized Jessyca's talent and passion for writing, and she joined a writing club that he led. But as he spent more time with her, often separating her from her classmates, her mom quickly started to worry about the man's true intentions. "I called Stephen Oliver and I said, 'You're a nice person, but we just don't feel comfortable with this relationship and so we're just gonna stop seeing you.' He was very apologetic and wished us well." Shortly after Monica told him she didn't want him spending time with her daughter, the Olivers suddenly moved out of the house next door. Jessyca and her mom both felt a sense of relief, but it was immediately replaced with fear when they found out where his new home was, right across from Jessyca's dad's place. Chills went up and down my spine and I thought, "Oh my God, there's something wrong with this guy. He had my daughter in his sights." I felt very afraid that he was going to do something. Monica brought her concerns to her ex-husband, Dale, but he dismissed them, saying Oliver seemed nice and there's no need to worry. Monica even called an attorney to see if she could stop her ex-husband from letting the man visit their daughter, but it wasn't in her rights. In September of 1995, her worst nightmare comes true. Dale says, Stephen Oliver was taking Jessyca to get her writing published and they needed to meet with the publisher in Madison, Wisconsin, but they didn't come back. He hadn't told Monica anything about letting Oliver take her on a trip alone, and she never would have let her daughter go with him if she knew. They go to the police to report Jessyca missing and just days later they get a letter from her. And it said, "Don't come look for me. I'm in a safe place. I know how my child speaks, I know how my child writes." It sounded like it was dictated to her. The letter makes it sound like Jessyca did run away, but her mom has already been worried about Stephen Oliver and she has a feeling there's more to the story. However, even she didn't know how much pain was really behind her daughter's writing. Jessyca met Stephen Oliver when she was only in the 3rd grade, and no one else knew that what he did to her was much worse than just spending more time with her than the other kids. Nobody knew Oliver would pull me aside, follow me, into his house, and then he would lock me up in one of the rooms and then he would sit me on his lap. I always went home feeling dirty and that I did something wrong. Oliver would criticize Jessyca and take her to a different room to punish her. He manipulated her, saying she wasn't pretty or smart and that no one would ever love her. He sexually abused her and he hit her if she didn't do what he told her to. He repeatedly told me that if I told anybody that he would kill my family members and then kill me. And I was terrified for that because I didn't want my parents to suffer. Jessyca was lost. At such a young age, she was already dealing with what no child should ever have to go through, and she didn't know what to do. Because of Oliver's threats, Jessyca didn't tell anyone that he was abusing her. All she could do to get through it was think of her family. She desperately wanted to keep them safe. The abuse went on for years until Oliver decided to take her away from her family too. September 16, 1995, Jessyca's dad sends her off on a trip with Oliver alone. Her family didn't know what was really going on and her dad thought he was helping her with her schoolwork and writing. My dad set me aside. Oliver was there and they said that, "You're gonna go with him to get your book laid out and published." And I had asked, "Did my mom say it was okay?" And they said, "Yes." And I'm like, well, I don't think my mom would be okay with this. But I was a kid. I trusted what they said, so I did what they told me to do. Jessyca obeys her dad and she leaves with Oliver early in the morning. She dozes off in the car holding on to the hope that he's telling the truth about taking her to meet with a publisher. But when Jessyca wakes up, her worst fears are confirmed. He had my feet tied to the bottom of the car and then my arms were tied behind my back. He told me, "You piece of s*******. Nobody wants you, nobody loves you. You're never going home, and no one's gonna be looking for you. So I'm really scared, feeling to know that you won't be seeing your family again." Jessyca has no idea where they are or what he's planning to do. He tells her she has to call him Dad now and that her name is Cindy Johnson and he's Dave Johnson. My mind's racing 1,000 miles a minute. Why is this happening to me? What is he gonna do to me? Is he going to kill me? While Jessyca is desperately trying to figure out what to do, they pull up to the parking lot of an airport. Suddenly Oliver takes out a knife. At the time, airport security was nothing like it is today and he's able to bring a weapon in easily, threatening Jessyca at every moment. There was no security, there's no surveillance cameras, there's no metal detectors. So he had a knife to the back of me the whole entire time. No one even knows about Jessyca's disappearance yet. But at such a public place, she's still hoping someone might notice her and question what's going on. Even if just one person steps in, it could make all the difference. But her hope quickly fades as they walk through the airport, and we got to the airplane. I had to take my seat. Nobody questioning, where are you guys going? Where are you from? Is this your daughter? Nothing. None of the strangers around have any clue how much danger she's in, and as the flight takes off, the only thing Jessyca can do is think of her family, wondering if they'll be able to find her. Back in Eau Claire, police rush to Stephen Oliver's house. There they find his ex-wife and his son. Stephen Oliver had his ex-wife reunite with their son who Stephen Oliver had custody of at the time. He even had his ex-wife move into the home with the son. This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment thing. Stephen Oliver did a lot of preparation for this trip. They searched the house, finding a series of disturbing receipts that make Oliver's plan more clear. He had made several purchases that we were able to find, some duct tape, I believe it was, rope, he had a knife, things that could be used to restrain somebody. He was clearly setting this whole thing up to abduct her. Investigators interview Stephen Oliver's neighbors, co-workers, anyone connected to him, to get as much insight as possible. The search for Jessyca grows quickly. Her family works to spread her name and face everywhere, putting up posters, doing TV interviews, and more. As days go by with no more letters or communication from Jessyca, they refuse to give up. I will not let any negative thoughts come in at all. She will be back home. As news spreads, new leads come in, police get tips about possible sightings, but nothing pans out. Months go by without any news about Jessyca. With winter approaching, her family is terrified he might be hiding her somewhere without any heat. But in November 1995, there's a breakthrough. Police find Oliver's car at the Kansas City airport. After the discovery of the car, there's renewed hope that they could trace Oliver and Jessyca, but it's short-lived. You could get on an airplane by just saying you're Joe Smith. So checking the rosters of those flights didn't come up with anything of any consequence. It was horrifying to know that she could be anywhere because it is a big world out there. While her family is searching all over, Jessyca is far from home. After their flight, Stephen Oliver gets supplies to disguise the two of them. He even cuts Jessica's hair and dyes it a dark color so people won't recognize her. Then he takes her to a nearby hotel, and when they go up to the front desk, he makes up a story using their fake identities of father and daughter, Dave and Cindy Johnson. Oliver was great at telling stories. He gave them this sob story. "Well, we're moving down south to start a new life and Cindy's really sad, and has been having a hard time dealing with the death of her mom and her twin brother in a car accident." They believe his story and they give them a room. But Oliver quickly grows paranoid of being found, and he often looks outside, scanning the parking lot for any Midwestern license plates. He gets nervous and they move to another hotel. He tells them the same story and he says he's going to be homeschooling his daughter, so she won't be leaving the hotel room much. To Jessica's horror, part of the hotel needs renovations and they give them a room in the back in a section that's not open to the public. Now, instead of being close to other guests who might be able to help, there's no one around and nobody can hear her from the room. The first time I went into the hotel room, it was really dark, scary, it was dusty. There's cockroaches everywhere. It was just really gross. In the middle of the night, after I knew that Oliver was asleep, would cry. I knew it was serious and that I wasn't gonna be returning home to my family. Jessyca is terrified. As soon as Oliver leaves the room, she tries to escape, but she quickly discovers she can't get out because the room is locked from the outside. I couldn't get out, I couldn't run away. The key, he always had that with him. He's like, "I will kill you and I will stab you." And there wasn't a doubt in my mind that he wouldn't do that because he had stabbed me before. Oliver has already hurt Jessyca in the past, but even with his threats, she won't give up. She notices the rotary phone in their room, and when he steps out again, she runs over to it. He might walk back in the room at any minute and punish her if he sees what she's doing, but she's willing to risk it for the chance to call for help. I'm trying to dial my phone number and it just didn't work. I'm like, I know what my phone number is. I found out that Oliver was able to rewire it. So then if you were to dial 5, it could be a 6. Dial a 7, it could be a 4. So there was no way that I was going to be making a phone call to anybody. Jessyca can't call anyone and she can't get out of the room either. She's running out of options and there's no escape. All she can do is try to picture herself back with her family. She desperately hopes they'll be able to find her, but the longer she spends in the hotel room, the harder it is. All I would think about was that, he was right, that I was stupid because I couldn't even figure out how to call my mom on the phone. I didn't think that I would ever see my family again. As days turn to weeks and weeks turn to months, Jessica's hope starts to crumble. Oliver is constantly abusing her, sexually, physically and emotionally. I was never allowed to leave the room. I spent most of the days tied up to the bed in the hotel room. I wasn't allowed to eat whenever I wanted to because I was fat and ugly. So the only time I was allowed to eat was if he gave me food, and if I deserved food then I could eat. I was beaten really hard in the stomach by his fist that I could barely even walk. And it hurt the worst when he said that my parents and my family friends didn't love me or didn't want me anymore. It was really hard. He continues to call her Cindy Johnson, and after all the pain she's been through, Cindy is starting to become her identity. Every time she tries to remember her past, Oliver hurts her more. And the loving, happy young Jessyca is fading away. She's not only losing hope that she'll escape alive, but she's also losing her true self. Every day you're listening to, "You're worthless, you're damaged goods." You begin to believe it. I didn't know that my name was Jessyca. I knew that my parents and my friends are looking for me, but the images of them, they just kind of faded. While Jessyca is being brainwashed by her captor, her family refuses to give up. The thought that they might see Jessyca again someday keeps them going, and every day they try to think of more ways they can help in the search. They're able to get Jessica's picture on billboards and posters in the back of semi-trucks, spreading her story across the country. Various TV shows and publications pick up on the story too, including the massively popular America's Most Wanted series hosted by John Walsh, who lost his own son after an abduction. The show seeks help from the public to find criminals, and the manhunt for Stephen Oliver grows. Monica leans on her brother for support, and he gives his all to find Jessyca too. My brother Steve was, phenomenal isn't even the word for it. He worked tirelessly on trying to find Jessyca. We did a lot of praying and hoping. Everybody poured their hearts into it. I wouldn't have given up. I don't care if it's 10 years, I would still be looking for her. I always felt she was alive, and I was trying to send my strength prayerfully to her. I prayed all the time. I had the courage and strength and hope that my family would find me and bring me home. Even though Jessyca's identity is fading, when she prays, she can feel the connection to her family. Jessyca also remembers something her mom used to tell her that gives her strength to keep going. I knew that my family back in Wisconsin would be looking for me, because my mom had mentioned that if anything bad ever happened to myself or my brothers, that she would find us. Have you ever had a teacher who made you feel uncomfortable, but no one believed you? Why do you think so many people ignored Jessyca's fear? If you love this crime reveal, make sure to hit the subscribe button. See you in the next video about Jessyca Mullenberg.